Hello, hi, I'm Carmen. I'm a woman of God. I am a wife, an aunt, and an older sister. And I'm also a woman with an incarcerated loved one. One out of every four women and one out of every two African American women in the United States has an incarcerated loved one. When I initially heard that statistic, I thought to myself, oh, yeah, I can believe it. With all of the weekends that I'm down at the county jail and I'm seeing the different women. And then when I'm down at the county jail and I see the majority of African American women, I can believe it. But I just thought it was, California, LA. I didn't realize that it was the whole United States of America. So that is devastating. My incarcerated loved one is my husband, John. I met my husband in 1993 through a best friend who went to his grandparents' 55th wedding anniversary. My husband is a very gentle person. He's a very gentle soul. He's a typical gentleman. He opens up the car door for you. He waits for everyone to get in. If you're walking in a building, he's the last person in. He even taught my nieces when I met him and they were 2 and 5 how not to say, Granny, did you bring me something home when she comes in from work? But Granny, how was your day? I know that you are probably going to think this is superficial, but my fondest memory of my husband is him doing my hair. He's a licensed cosmetologist. And for 32 years, I didn't have to, let me back up. For the first 15 years, I didn't have to comb my hair or anything. He did it all for me. Woke up in the morning, did my hair, go to bed at night, and he did my hair, i.e. the ponytail, because I don't know how to comb my hair, and I'm 62. So that is the fondest memory that I have of him, other than his gentle, kind spirit. To have an incarcerated loved one and for it to be your husband is a very difficult and challenging process because you miss them so much every day with the daily activities. And then once he went to prison, I really didn't know the financial aspect of how much he put into our home. So unfortunately, in the course of this process, I had to file bankruptcy because the overhead was more than what I could afford at the time. But every holiday is a heavy spirit. Every time I see a couple in a movie at dinner and he's away, it's heavy. It's heavy. What has impacted me the most is him not being home when major things happened. I've been hospitalized twice since he's been gone. I went through 2 major surgeries, and I basically went through them by myself because naturally your family has lives and they're not going to be at the hospital with you for 24 hours a day. And I know that he would be. I miss the companionship, him just being there with me every day. When I'm having a bad day, he's my peace. And he's always so positive. He never sees the bad side of anything, not even with this current situation. The only thing that hampers our relationship is the physical touch, because it's not a day that go by that I don't talk to him. If I don't talk to him, there's a reason why I can't talk to him. So we maintain our love by praying together every night. Now that they have these tablets, I get a text from him every morning, and we don't write as much. I'm going to tell him about that. We don't write as much, but I get the cards, but our love is strong. We've been together almost 30 years. I could go a day without seeing him. The first thing in the morning when I wake up, I pray. I read 7 different devotionals. I have a series of scriptures that I read. Throughout the day, I pray when it get rough, because some days it get rough. And before I go to bed at night, I pray. And I pray every night with my husband from 8 to 9. He calls me and we pray together faithfully. And I'm so tired of his prayer list because it just includes so many people. And I to be telling him, take that person off that prayer list and see, that's where his spirit comes in. No, sweetie, we don't take people off of the prayer list. Some of the unseen ways that the women who support incarcerated loved ones, whether it be their son, their husband, their child, father, we often take care of their needs. If we find out they're sick, we're looking for ways to offer support to make sure that they are getting the care that they need. If they were mistreated, we look into why it happened. We form prayer circles. We make sure, that we're praying for them. And we send them tons of material to just keep their spirits lifted. They're allowed to have a package 4 times a year that can weigh 30 pounds. So I provide him with those packages. I pay for his devotionals to make sure that he's reading the same devotionals that I'm reading. So I pay for all of those subscriptions, and I take care of his money that he can spend monthly at the store. But because of his high restitution, we kind of avoid that because every time I send him money, they take 50% of it and they put it towards restitution for a crime that he basically didn't commit. He earned his paralegal degree since he's been in prison because I pay for a course for Blackstone University for him to further his education because unfortunately they're not letting him be a beautician while he's in prison. So he is now a licensed certified paralegal. He completed the course with Blackstone University. It cost me some money, but it was worth it. When my husband went to jail, I got plenty of calls from attorneys. And the first bit of advice that they gave me was don't bankrupt yourself by paying for a lawyer for John. Because first of all, he's African American and they find him as guilty. And you cannot afford what Caucasian people can afford for a lawyer. So we're going to wait it out and we're going to wait and see who his lawyer is going to be. And then we'll move from there. Then the other part of it is you go into these prisons, you go into these jails, and you're treated so badly. You're not respected. It's like you're just as guilty or innocent as the person that you're visiting. But just because you're visiting someone, that doesn't mean that they're guilty. They don't treat us like human beings. They just disrespect us. You wait for hours to see a person in the system, and then they cancel your visit. Oh, your visit's canceled after when he first went, I used to have to get there at 6:00 in the morning. This was before appointments. And my visit wouldn't be to 12:00 p.m. It was a lot of shame. It was a lot of embarrassment because unfortunately, my husband's case was all over the world, all over the news. And because people look at the news and they just see one side, they don't see the other side. It was very embarrassing to know that my husband did not kill anyone, but that's what the media put out there. They didn't say, oh, he was exempt from the hair fibers. They didn't say he wasn't a person in the video. They just put him out there. And it was very hard, very embarrassing. Yeah. Initially, it was a lot of shame. It was a lot of embarrassment. But then I got mad because I know my husband. I know what he's capable of doing. I know what he would not do. And so from that point, I just took back my dignity. I just started fighting for myself, speaking up for him when I would hear people discussing the case or whatever. I would say, no, that's not true. When I see someone or I hear someone that's in a similar situation, I just offer them love and encouragement and tell them that this too shall pass. It's not easy right now, but it's going to get better. But the better is not always better because you're lonely and you miss them and you don't know what's going on, but it becomes more manageable. The pain is more manageable. When this first happened to my husband and he became incarcerated, I would go to the jail every weekend to visit him. And I would just look for women that appeared to be lonely or embarrassed or ashamed. And I would just strike up a conversation with them. Hello, hi, I'm Carmen. It's okay that you're feeling this way. I could tell that you're nervous. Some of them would even be crying. Say, can I give you a hug? It's all right. We're going to get through this together. And I'll tell you how I've gotten through it this far. So I just would reach out to people and just give them a safe space to let them know you're not alone. I found a community with women that are walking the same walk of life that I have. Sitting at the Men's Central Jail for 9 years and 6 months every weekend, I met a lot of wonderful people that sons, husbands, fathers that is incarcerated. And we became friends. We became a family because we all needed the support and love of each other. Women who have incarcerated loved ones are honest, working women that love their families. Some may have been in trouble, some may have been not, but they're caring, they're supportive, they're faithful to their families, to their spouses, to their children that are behind prison walls. They have a lot of love for our incarcerated loved ones. They're loving women. I would like for other women with incarcerated loved ones to know that they are not alone and do not be ashamed. When you go into those prisons or the local jails, talk to the other incarcerated family members. Talk to the other family members that are there visiting. Build a network, a friendship, a prayer circle so that you're not alone. You're not alone. My hope is that one day that there will be no more prisons, that there will be other options for all people of all kind, better jobs, better schooling, and that we would just all work for change to make a better change so that we're just not housing them. They're not just in cells all day long doing nothing. I just would like a better world where rehabilitation and other opportunities are given with people that encounter these type of situations for whatever reason. Because we all have to stand in front of our maker one day. We're all accountable. So I don't think man should be the gatekeeper. What I've learned about myself, and I now know that I'm a strong woman and that I can endure anything, that no one can knock me down. If they knock me down, I'm going to get back up. And that when I took those vows, I took them. I will be there for him through it all, through it all. Rain, shine, broke, in jail or prison. And I learned that when people look at me and say, well, why are you still with him? I'm still with him because I love him. So I learned that I am a true lover and that I'm a true supporter. That's what I learned about myself, and I could do it.